As everyone was sleeping soundly, most of them were snoring. In fact, one of them was snoring so loudly that it caught the attention of Lavinia the cat. She groaned a bit and rolled over on her side to sleep, but just as she was trying to sleep, the loud snoring caused her to open her eyes and wonder what she was doing. Lavinia had always been reluctant to sleep with the crowd because she would know that if someone would be snoring loud enough that she or he might attempt her beauty sleep or interrupt it. She would try to ask him to stop snoring once more, but when they did not comply, she would take her pillow and place it over her head. But tonight Lavinia was too tired to do anything, so she let out a noisy sigh before her turning down and around slightly to look at her friends. Whoever snoring so loud better cut it out, Lavinia warned. Then she took her pillow and put it over her head to block out the noise. Seemingly understanding Lavinia's situation, however, SBO wearily looked at Vector, who was the one snoring loudly, and he clamped his boss mouth shut before going back to sleep himself. If anything, everything seemed to be all right, as some of the heroes were quieting down from their nocturnal outbursts. However, Lavinia then began to hear another noise. It was sound of an axe being dragged onto the floor, but she mistook as if someone was shaving logs. Practically speaking, now was getting really irritated. She lifted up her pillow and sat up on her sleeping bag and began to lecture her friends. But look guys, I'm being serious, Lavinia demanded. Knock it off or... Her speech was interrupted when she saw something that caused her to feel really nervous. She turned to see the ring-tailed lemur tried to wake her up. Tangle, wake up, Lavinia said, nudging the Tangle opened her eyes, and she turned to look at her. What's up, Lavinia? She asked. Look at this, Lavinia pointed at the direction. Once she was fully awake, Tangle's eyes were widened and her mouth dropped open. We should wake our friends up, she said. Yeah, let's, Lavinia agreed. Quickly, Lavinia shook the sleeping blue hedgehog gently to try to get him up. Hey, Sonic, she said. Sonic opened his eyes slightly and warily looked at. What's up, Lavinia? You should see what Tangle and I found. Huh? Sonic asked, not feeling the full idea of what was his sister talking about. Just look, Lavinia stated, jerking her brother's head in the direction. It was one of them. His eyes were immediately wide open. Lavinia, Sonic said, is that what I think it is? At this time, everyone else was awake. What's that, Sonic? Tails asked. Look, Sonic stated. It was none other than the ghost of the lost woodchopper. Oh, I think we get it, Vector said. It's a ghost of the woodchopper, Katarina chimed in. Without a warning, everyone began to scream their heads off at the sight of the ghost. I am the ghost of the woodchopper, the ghost said, and I have come on this night to haunt you. No, please, Maria pleaded. We're just reincarnated into a hedgehog. Run for your lives, Jules shouted. Everyone began to run down the stairs to avoid the ghost. As they were running, Whisper found out that the fire was put out. Guys, she said, getting her attention. Our fire has been put out. Oh no, Vanilla cried. We forgot to check the fire. Why didn't we have to do this? Knuckles asked. How are we going to get that ghost to haunt us for eternity? Sonic went towards the Echna and shook him. Knuckles, snap out of it, he shouted. But the Echna continued to freak out. I can't take this, he screamed. I'm too young to be haunted. So the blue hedgehog resolved by slapping him across the face to get him to calm down. Knuckles slowly turned and looked at Sonic and quietly asked, Did you just slap me across the face? Before the Echna could lose his temper, Sonic tried to explain his intention. He said, Look, Knuckles, He was interrupted by Knuckles, who shouted, You know what? Instead of being haunted and crying like a baby, I'm going to be haunted and punch you. Knuckles tried to punch Sonic in the face, but he was so fast that he, like a hot-headed ninja, and he dodged every single punch. Both Tails and Lavinia tried to break up the fight before things could get out of hand and really ugly. Knuckles, you gotta settle down, Lavinia explained. Fighting isn't going to help. We need to calm down and think rationally, Tails added. Like, who put out the fire? Whisper asked. It wasn't long until everyone saw the woodchopper ghost slowly walking down the stairs after them. Oh no, Cream said. It's that ghost again. Quick, let's make a run for it, Tangle said. They screamed in the fight, and as the ghost before continued to run out of the cabin and into the woods. Fortunately, they didn't run too far as they hit some bushes that they were near the cabin. Sonic and Shadows, along with SBO, Knuckles, and Whisper, looked through the bushes and spotted the ghost of the woodchopper, who continued to search for the heroes. "Do you see him?" Jewel asked quietly. "What is he doing?" Cosmo asked. "He looks like he's trying to search for us," Shadow answered. "Why didn't he come one of us to check on what the fire was out?" Silver asked in regret. "I could have easily used my Proclinius' powers to light the fireplace up," Blaze said. "Oh, I would have loved to see you try," Victor taunted. "My fire breath could light up not only the whole fireplace, but also your tail after you beat you in the campfire competition." "You want to go?" Blaze demanded, raising her voice. "Bring it on, princess," Victor said, before the argument could be heated. SBO and Amy had to cover the crocodile and the Leg's cat's mouths to keep them quiet. "Are you trying to get us caught?" SBO asked. Victor and Blaze decided to remain quiet for the sake of being courageous around the others. Lavinia then turned to Blaze and said, "And from here, I thought I was the only one who hates being called princess." "Did he hear us too?" Amy asked. "I sure hope not," Sonic answered. He continued to look at the ghost, who went to the opposite direction of the woods. "He's gone," Sonic said. "I guess we're safe for now." Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. "I think Takia and Chaos," Silver said. "That's a relief," Katarina said. "Now we're stuck with one question," Tangle explained. "Who put out the fire, and why?" They all began to think of a possible solution. "Guys, I think I recorded the footage," Whisper said. She took out the mask and played the black footage of the woodchopper's ghost. In this recording, they could be seen a bit pulled up his pants, and if it was not falling down, it was very hard to keep those pants up without a stupid belt, the ghost muttered. Everyone gasped in realization. "This is really odd," Lavinia stated. "Jewel, did you say that the fire was supposed to be lit until sunrise, right?" SBO said. "Yes, that's true," Jewel answered, nodding her head. "And you're saying that this time of year the woodchopper's ghost would wander out in the woods for this time?" Tangle asked. "Yes," Jewel replied. "Then how could this ghost manage to find his own way home, even though he never made it back?" Amy asked. "No one seems to know for certain, but Victor thought of himself. I have a feeling that our ghost might not be a real ghost, or it could be you-know-who." "Hey, Victor," Katarina said. "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" "I do, Katarina," Victor said. "What are you guys talking about?" Tails asked. "We have a plan," Katarina and Victor said in illusion. "Huddle up," Victor said. After everyone huddled up in the circle, the crocodile and the cat began to explain their plan. They began to discuss in a football-like fashion, where the players had to discuss their game before they play on the field for their advantage to win. "You guys see how that ghost could be transparent in movies, right?" Katarina asked. Everyone nodded their heads yes, as there seemed to be multiple ghosts in movies that they practically memorized their physical appearances in sprints. "Most of them should be glowing and showing through, though," Charmy said. "Yeah, but this one is more opaque than we could see through like any other regular ghosts," Amy explained. "What should we do?" Cream asked. "Simple," Victor answered. "We're going to catch the ghost." "But how?" Knuckles asked. "Besides, it would be impossible to track him down." "No worries," Charmy said. "Me and Bookun got this, right, Bookun?" "Right, yeah," Bookun agreed. "Besides, they don't catch us trackers for nothing. It looks like we'll be divided up into 3 groups, Victor explained. Group 1 will be the trackers for our ghost. Group 2 will be persuading him towards the cabin, where Group 3 will build up a trap to catch him. "Smart thinking," Tails said. "Let's review the plan. Group 1 would track down the woodchopper's ghost into the woods. Once they saw him, they would contact Group 2 through the walkie-talkies, and here comes Group 3's trap." "But who's going to be in which group?" Jet asked. "We should draw straws and find out," Jewel said. With that being said, she took out a cup and a few straws. Each straw would contain 3 different colors, Jewel explained. "First, if you pick a straw that is red stripe, then you're in Group 1. If you pull up a straw with a blue stripe, you're in Group 2. And finally, if your straw has a green stripe, then you're in Group 3. Now understanding the terms of the straws, everyone all covered their eyes and blindly pulled out a straw. They looked at the chosen straw to examine their colors, and by their choice. "Okay," Sonic said. "Whoever has the red striped straw, pair up for Group 1. Charmy, Bookun, Cream, Cheese, Maria, Whisper, Rouge, SBO, and Styx got the red straws. So they became Group 1. Now whoever has the blue striped straw, pair for Group 2. Sonic announced. Sonic, Amy, Knuckles, Tangle, Lavinia, Katarina, Jet, Shadow, Cosmo, and Marine. Rain, Silver, and Blaze got the blue striped straws, and so they became Group 2. Tails, Vector, Vanilla, Chocola, Germil, Omega, Big, Wave, Storm, Jewel, and Jasmine were Group 3 because they had green straws. Now that we know which groups we're in, let's go get that ghost, Sonic declared. Soon everyone got to their assigned locations. Group 1 was on the tree branches looking for the ghost. Group 2 hid behind the bushes waiting for the opportunity to lure it towards the cabin, where Group 3 began to make the trap and catch it before they could haunt them. And they all could do is hope that their plan would be successful. After a few minutes into tracking the woodchopper's ghost down in the woods, Group 1 researched high and low for him. Rouge took a look out with her walkie-talkie and said, Rouge to Sonic, come in, Sonic. What's up, Rouge? Sonic asked. Sonic, Rouge said. You forgot to say Sonic to Rouge here. Oh, I didn't know we were supposed to talk like that. Well, whenever we use these walkie-talkies, Sonic replied. My bad. He cleared his throat before speaking again. Sonic to Rouge here. That's more like it, Rouge said, nodding her head. Excuse me, Rouge, Cream said, but we're not spies. No, I'm just a spy for a gun, Rouge explained. Cheese sighed and then put her head on her head in annoyance. I don't blame you, Cheese, Cream said. Anyways, did you find the ghost? Sonic asked. We haven't found him just yet, Rouge answered, but we're still looking. Hey guys, look over here, Styx announced, pointing to her left, and the rest of the group had turned to see the badger's direction and saw the ghost of the woodchopper wandering in the woods and looking for Sonic and the gang. We found him, Maria said quietly. We found the ghost. Just in the big blue, Rouge said, notifying the blue hedgehog. We found our ghost. Perfect, Sonic replied. Keep an eye out for him. We'll contact Group 3 and see if the trap is done. Will do, Rouge said. Tell Shadow that I love him. Shadow leaned into the walkie-talkie and spoke to his girlfriend. I love you too, Rouge, he said. After their lover and teammates shared a kiss, Sonic began to contact Tails for the some process on the trap. Hey Tails, how's the trap coming along? He asked. We're just about done, Tails answered. In cabin Group 3 had already set their trap, which contained a bucket full of waters that Dr. Starling used a while ago that he put the fire out by the door. There was some wax on the floor to make it slippery so the rope would trigger the eggs and they would next lance to the woodchopper's ghost. We're checking up on the trap just to make sure everything's ready and working perfectly, Tails explained. As Omega was testing the floor, he slipped on it and struggling to keep his balance on his check. Well, right when he was about to fall, Vanilla and Jasmine caught him just in time. We got you, Omega, Vanilla said. I'm grateful for your assistance, Omega said. In the meantime, Tails continued, you guys better lure the ghost. You got it, pal, Sonic responded. While the blue hedgehog was hanging up his walkie-talkie, Lavinia suddenly said, Guys, I see a ghost. Alright, Sonic said. Let's do it. Everyone started to come out of the bushes to get the ghost's attention. And as the ghost of the woodchopper was walking around, he called, You may be able to run, but you can't hide forever. Suddenly someone called him. Hey, you! The ghost then turned to his right to see Sonic and a couple of his friends making fun of him. You dare to try to startle me? He asked. Why would we make you mock? Tangle asked. We were the only one who was going to bring you home. I've waited for this long enough, the woodchopper snapped. Now I've got you right where I want you. I shall haunt you for disrespecting my home. But before you can haunt us, can you think you can catch us? Sonic asked. They began to make their way through the cabin with the woodchopper following them. Let's just hope it works, Knuckles said. Group 2 ran as fast as they possibly could until they meet up with Group 1. They practically lose sight of the ghost. When they arrived at the cabin, they very quickly made a beeline to hide behind for some of the trees, not realizing that they were actually hiding outside of the ghost of the woodchopper thought. They thought that they already ran inside the cabin. Oh, all you can do decide to turn back on my cabin and hide under your beds? He asked. Well, okay, I'll find you, and I'll haunt you. As soon as he opened the door, he tripped over the bucket, spilling the water all over the woodchopper. Some of the water even got into his eyes, making him temporarily blind. He then walked inside the cabin, only to slip on some slide in the living room to the kitchen, where he bumped into the counter and fell on the floor. As he tried carefully to get up from the floor, he pulled on the rope which triggered the eggs that were being thrown at him, causing him to fall over again and finally the rope net fell on the woodchopper, trapping him in the process. Everyone came out of their hiding places from the furnace and the trees to confront the woodchopper. Victor and Stormy immediately ran up towards him and grabbed him by the arms. After removing the net from him, "Gotcha," Victor declared. "You ain't getting away from us. There will cause enough trouble for one night." "Woodchopper, sir," Storm said. "Nice work, everyone. We caught him," Sonic announced. "Now let's see who our real woodchopper ghost is." He turned to his best friend and said, "Tails, you ready?" "Ready when you are, Sonic," Tails answered. They grabbed a hold of a mask and pulled it out. Once they removed the mask, it revealed to be Dr. Starline? Everyone gasped. "Thank Tychula and Chaos you removed the mask from me," the platypus said. "I couldn't lift my arms due to the moisture sleeping me in the suit." "But why?" Amy asked. Why were you trying to scare us? And what is the deal with putting out the fire?" Silver demanded. "And wait, this is your costume?" Wave asked, removing the paint from his cloth. Dr. Starling began to explain the story. "I was on my evening hike in the woods when I found this cabin. After learning about the legend of the woodchopper's ghost that you were here for the night, I decided to give a bit of fun. While you were sleeping upstairs, I pulled out my megaphone and made some spooky noises to trick you into thinking that I was actually a ghost, and I ran to hide from any of you finding out from some scheme I was playing on you. And as you were going back to bed, I took a bucket full with water to put the fire out in the fireplace. Then I put on my woodchopper costume and painted myself with glowing to make it look like part of the woodchopper. I bought both the costume and the paint up to the costume from the store in Station Square called for the costume party and Paradise that just opened this week. Anyways, once I was all set, I set upstairs and woke you guys up with my axe in my very hand to make you think I would chop you into little pieces. I then began to chase you down from the cabin in the woods to make you think you leave the cabin. And I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids." "Who are you calling us kids?" Jet demanded. "I am so gonna kick your platypus behind right now." Before Hawk could do anything, Sonic and Amy took a hold of him. "What the? Let me go!" Jet declared. "Calm down, Jet," Amy stated. "There's a thing called sarcasm in this so-called doctor," Sonic explained. "And what's the matter, Dr. Temper Hawk?" Dr. Starline mocked. "Did I just insult you? Are you gonna beat me up?" Instead, Jet just reared back and hawked a little loogie and spat on Platypus's face. "Do you like me now, Doc?" he asked. "Well, they don't call me Jet for hawking people's loogie for hawk for nothing." "Let me get this straight," Tails said. "You were the one with this megaphone." "Yes," Dr. Starling answered. "And you were the one who extinguished the fire," SBO added. "Yes," Dr. Starling responded again. "And you were the one who disguised yourself as the costume just to look like a ghost with paint," Marine asked. Yes, Dr. Starling replied. "It's all true. Everything was quiet for a minute or two, but when Victor, Sonic, you nerve of you two, have something that was uncalled for. We've been tricked," Whisper declared, opening her eyes, putting her mask back on and lifting her visible wisdom. "Sonic heroes," Sonic announced, "let's get him." Everyone began beating up Dr. Starling for the ridiculous stunt that he pulled, knocking him out in the process. A few minutes later, they went back inside the cabin to spend some time outside. Victor and Blaze even started a new fire in the fireplace to show respects to the deceased woodchopper. Jewel then turned back to look at Tangle, who looked down at her at the dumps. "Tangle," she started, "I wanted to say I'm really sorry for tricking you into thinking that the legend of the woodchopper's ghost was real. Well, we don't want to make you feel like this was a vacation or a waste of time." "This vacation? This waste of time?" Tangle repeated before turning her head back and looking at her best friend. "Are you kidding me, Jewel? This vacation has been great." "You really think so?" Jewel asked. "Yeah," Tangle replied. "Besides, I think solving the mystery has been the best part." "I'm glad you enjoyed it," Jewel said. The lemur then placed her hand on the beetle's shoulder. "I'm glad we all enjoyed it," she said. "Ready, guys?" The rest of the gang nodded and heads in agreement. "Thanks, Jewel," Tangle said, hugging her best friend. "You're the best." Jewel smiled and returned the hug. "You're welcome, Tangle," she said. Sonic let out a yawn and said, "It's getting pretty late. We should all be getting to sleep, right?" The others agreed by saying right, and they headed upstairs into bed for the good night's sleep. Meanwhile, Dr. Starling woke up being unconscious and realized that he was stuck on something. He was tied up so tight that it was impossible for him to let himself out. And before he knew it, he was tied up next to a tree trunk in the middle of the woods. Upon making some sense of situation, Dr. Starling decided to call for help. "Ruff, Stumble, somebody, anybody?" he shouted. "Help me! I'm stuck. I'm tied up and I can't get this stupid rope off of me. Oh, please help me. Help!" Just before he was about to give up, Dr. Starling spotted someone that he caught his eye. He looked like a woodchopper. But this one was transparent, and he walked closer towards the startled platypus and leaned forward to him and said, "You were the one who disrespected my legacy." Dr. Starling screamed with fright, startling and some sort of sleeping animal and birds into the night.